That doesn't have my address in it.
Oh.
I didn't see it. I'll go back to the fire department.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
So, the last 48 hours continues to impress.
Oh no, something else?
Oh, hold on, let me push it. Oh yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Sorry, man.
Not a big deal. Ash, but you know what? Ash is feeling better. That's most important.
That's great. That's really matters. So.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what we're doing tomorrow? So you remember Alan Barry?
Yeah.
So he ends up. I may have told you this. He opened up a couple of cooking cooking class schools. Called Hudson Table. One in Brooklyn, one in Philadelphia, one in Hoboken. We went like 6 months ago or last year to the one in Hoboken. Stacy and I, and it was so much fun. So tomorrow we're getting like a whole bunch of people. We're all going. We rented the whole place out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, and only 3 people that were supposed to come have gotten COVID in the past week. So not bad. So
yeah, it's below the average. It feels like I'm taking out my kid tomorrow and for a few hours, and I have to mask up because I can't see him anyway. It's very very tough with the COVID stuff. But anyway, we have COVID in some games tonight. There's been a couple of guys.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Not big. Garver being out for Texas, who I was kind of into a little bit. And that was, I guess that might have been the only one I know for sure. But we got a nice slate, and I'm saying what's up to Kevin Wise and Peyton Wavy in here. I think that this is you could really, you could argue for spreading out more today than I think usual. I don't think I like, and even the Blue Jays we have a little bit of weather concern in that game, which has me a little bit nervous.
Is that true?
I'm playing Berrios. It's more of a weather concern for a possible delay at some point. Should always happen. But it just got me a little bit nervous with the Berrios because I've got a lot of Berrios on DraftKings. Do you want to start with DraftKings and talk about who you're stacking and who you're pitching?
Yeah, so this is like do as I say, not as I do type of thing. So I did update the projections, and I will say this: I'm taking two really big stands. I'm just basically going with what I was talking about earlier. It's I guess it's pretty bad, but I just kind of don't care right now. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm playing 25% Marco Gonzalez for openers. That's one thing. In just MME stuff, and the other thing is I X'd out Strider. I'm just not interested. So we'll just see how it turns out.
The old Marco Gonzalez over Strider, wasn't ready for that. I actually like the idea a little bit of the Gonzalez. I don't mind it so much, and it's maybe I'll limit a little bit of my Berrios with him. I still really like Contreras in that game. So I like Contreras. If you're going to pivot off of Strider, I think that Contreras is absolutely viable. And Marco is too as well. You could play those two together. Here's my problem. So where I'm like stacking Milwaukee, who I do like quite a bit.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee a lot actually.
The problem is I honestly have almost too much money to spend. It's actually bizarre with using Severino and Musgrove.
Yeah, my big buy-in right now at least, I'm leaving 900 on the table.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
I just don't know who else to change.
Yeah, no, I ran into a little bit of that today myself. I think it might be helpful because I'm going to be stacking up Toronto the most on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I have more Dodgers, and I really like Milwaukee, and I like the mini Tampa stack like I talked about earlier today.
Hey, what about Seattle?
The Seattle, I didn't think about stacking them.
Okay. You mentioned them earlier a little bit today.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of an interesting spot. Like I didn't end up with any of them by the end of it, but I think that's actually not a bad. It's not a bad play. I mean, that's how I feel about a lot of these lineups today. But I think that getting and I am doing some 4-3-1s where I'm just like using one of either Royal catcher in both of my big lineups right now. Like I have Melendez in one and Perez in the other.
I like that.
Perez is my highest owned catcher by a long shot.
And you got to play them both on FanDuel, right?
I think on FanDuel you want to try to play them. I think even on DraftKings you could try and play them both, but I'm not necessarily.
Can you?
I have. Oh yeah, Melendez is outfield.
Oh, okay.
But I really like the both those guys quite a bit. They're probably between them, they make up about half my DraftKings lineups. I love Jose Ramirez as a one-off on days like this. And I have about 30% of Jose Ramirez. I've got 35% Aaron Judge, even though I'm lower on the Yankees as a full stack. I am playing some Judge chalk. Just feels like with Miley, it feels like he's gonna connect one time at least. You've got some cheap options at third base that are worth mentioning, Jace Peterson, but you also have Jake Berger for the White Sox. I do have some White Sox stacks. I have some Baltimore KC full game stacks.
I got some. I got a decent amount of Texas actually.
Yeah, and I ended up with a Texas / White Sox game stack. That's pretty much what I'm doing in that. Musgrove, I have 30% on DraftKings right now. I have 30% Severino on DraftKings. I have 40% Barrios, 15% Strider, 30% McKenzie, 15% Luis Garcia, who I did get to a little bit just when I saw the Miami lineup has so many strikeouts in it. 25% Contreras. So I'm higher on Contreras than I actually am.
That's a big take.
What's that? The Contreras?
Contreras.
I don't see what the huge difference is between him and Strider. I mean, the biggest difference I can point to.
I mean, I'm just saying that. I mean, yeah. You don't need. Let's just say you don't need to get too much of him to get over the field.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And this is he's coming off of a ceiling game for him, but he threw 98 pitches in that game. And he's had an extra day, so it's a sixth day. That you know what I mean? Like, so he's. I don't know. I just feel like why wouldn't I? If I'm going to, sure, there's the high upside of Strider. I am going to play some of him. But I don't know why Strider hasn't thrown more than 87 pitches in an outing yet. And and the Braves strike out more than the Pirates do.
So I've got 60 right now. I have 65% Musgrove, and I got 30% Severino, and then as I mentioned, I have 30% Barrios, 26% Marco, and some slivers of McKenzie. Oh, I know I have a little bit too much of. Oh, man, I don't know if I want to do this. I did get to some Gallon, and in addition to that, I was getting to some Arizonas hitting wise.
Yeah, I can get behind the Arizona hitting, and if you didn't have Moscazo as the umpire, he's one of the two extreme hitter umpires in the slate. I would have been willing to take that gamble with Gallon. I also, if there was a few more righties in there, I would have taken a gamble on Kyle Gibson, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
But I get it. And I'm just looking at it right now.
Yeah, but that's really good info. So it's a hitter's umpire in Philly.
Extreme hitters in Philly. Hitters.
So I'm going to get rid of my what's his name? Mike Allen. I think it's smart.
Yeah, but having some of them I think makes sense. But also extreme hitters in Washington. So gives me a little bit more of the love even for Milwaukee that I already have. And they're cheap, and like this is what I realized. So today, if you could tell me, like, okay, so if I was just doing like a build of a bunch of lineups, I said half of my lineups will be made of Perez and Melendez at catcher. Half of my lineups will also be all Milwaukee shortstops. It'll be Adames or Urias for me.
You know what? Getting rid of the Gallon got me more McKenzie, which I want anyway. So it works. It works.
Yeah, there's a ton of upside for McKenzie here, but who knows what happens? But he's good.
Yeah.
Good matchup. Ended up with a lot of Biggio in my stacks, just as made things work.
Gotta watch for this Texas lineup.
Yep.
I'm projecting some real cheapos in the lineup, and if they're not in, I gotta rethink this.
Yep. Texas is the lineup's out.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, the Texas lineup is. Let me grab it real quick. It's Simeon, Seager, Garcia, Calhoun.
Wait, so it's not Jonah Heim is the deal?
No, but it's Huff. Huff is cheaper, so you can leave even more money if you want to.
Right.
Nate Lowe, Brad Miller, Duran, and Walker. Steele Walker. What a name.
Yeah, he's 2K, right?
Mm-hmm. Other cheapos to use in the outfield. I'm going to throw out a few other ones that I like quite a bit. I really like Gonzalez for Cleveland, or Mazzara. You can take one of those guys for minimum cost. The guy who I really like, but I didn't quite get to as much as I wanted to, is especially it's a pivot off of the Strider chalk, but Cal Mitchell. This guy's really talented. There's a lot of people who are very high on him, and he's 2,500 playing for Pittsburgh. So, and he's batting fifth today. So I think he's the other.
Who is this?
Cal Mitchell. This is his name.
I like that.
Yeah, I think he's a really strong player.
Anything to pivot. I think that's probably something I want actually.
Yeah. And one thing I'm doing is even in my 4-man stacks that don't necessarily correlate perfectly, I'm playing a ton of Hunter Renfroe today for Milwaukee. I know I like Milwaukee, and I already mentioned that. But
do we play any San Diego at the end of the day?
At the San Diego, I've got Voit in about 15% of lineups.
Okay.
And I've got Grisham in 5%, and I've got Mazzara in 15% at minimum cost.
Yeah.
Between Urias, Adames, I'm only basically playing Seager and Bichette. Other than that, without the exception of like maybe one Mateo for a Baltimore stack or something, or one Bobby Witt. But I really like Seager, Urias, and Adames
at shortstop.
At shortstop. Guys, fire on any questions. Who do I like on Milwaukee? All of them, because they're all too cheap. So Yelich is number one. He's way too cheap. I love Adames and Urias, like I've been talking about. Renfroe will be my pick over Taylor or McCutchen, even though Renfroe is a little bit more expensive. I'm still going to play more of him because, look, I mean, we want the guy with the home run upside. This guy's missed some games, and he still has 10 home runs so far. He's one of the, what is he, probably 15th in the league and 18th in the league, somewhere around there in home runs. I want the home run upside, so I would take him. Jace Peterson is the cheap option at third. You also have guys like I really like these Tampa Bay guys are super cheap. Ramirez, Brujan, and Rosarena are my favorites over there.
You have any Bueller?
No.
Okay, I got two lineups.
If it was not the Giants, I'd be taking a shot here, but I'm not going to do it.
That makes sense what you said, by the way, that the Giants will just, I mean, they put their best foot forward in these games. And
yeah.
Stuff.
You'll see pinch hitters. You'll see all kinds of stuff going on. I mean,
the hashtag kitchen sink.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they play the Dodgers every time. Is Toronto going to be the top owned team on FanDuel? I believe so, right, Sheets? That's what I've got.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really playing FanDuel, but I can't imagine them not being.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I'm using Severino as my main pitcher on FanDuel. I just am going a little bit after the upside, although it's really hard to argue. I mean, Musgrove's having a Cy Young season, but I just like Severino in this matchup, so I'm gonna.
Any Castillo?
Yes, I did end up with like 10% Castillo,
okay,
but not a ton.
What are we doing in the NBA? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm still stuck here because I think they should be playing Kuminga some minutes. And that's really the big decision point for me because you can sort of do whatever else you want if you play Kuminga. I don't feel as good about it as I did before.
Has he played at all yet?
Yeah, he's played only the mop-up time.
He just played that fourth quarter of that one game?
He's played every game, but 1 minute, 4
minutes.
I
don't know. Is that true?
Yeah, he's played 1 minute, 4 minutes, and 2 minutes, but all at the end of the game.
But, I mean, he's active. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
2 minutes, 1 minute, 4 minutes. Okay, all right.
I actually think if they didn't come back in the third and ended up losing by 30, I would feel like Kuminga is like a virtual lock for me today. But they ended up coming back and almost winning the game, so I think they might stick with their normal guys.
I'm kind of inclined to go back to Bielitsa again.
I feel less good about that one, but it's definitely possible. It's just I prefer Peyton. I mean, Peyton's not quite a spend down anymore.
Well, I'm paying it for him. I think I'm doing that anyway. I think I'm going to play him with one other cheapo. Yeah,
I'm using Kuminga, but I will probably throw in one Bielitsa lineup. It's just that the athleticism is what's killing the team, and it doesn't feel good to play Bielicha when your team needs athleticism. You know what I mean? Not exactly his strength. But to answer Peyton Wavy's question, I do have Barrios and Contreras together specifically. So yes, I think you can pair them together. But you have to know, don't be upset and say, oh, Contreras, if I only went Strider. Look, Strider's the obvious play. Okay, everybody's going to do that same thing. Nobody's playing Contreras. That's why it's a good play. I don't see a huge difference between the two of them at this point to where it should be one guy should be what Strider's going to be 35% owned.
What's his price, Contreras?
6,700.
Okay. Are you playing any these guys we talked about? Any Ashby?
I threw him into a couple again. Second worst pitchers ump on the slate. Oh, actually, no, the worst pitchers ump on the slate. The worst pitchers ump in baseball in Marquez.
Alfonso Marquez or something.
Yeah, I just don't think I can quite get to as much of it in my big buy-ins, but I do have a couple of them just because I think he's talented enough. He's really good. Like I think he's going to be really good. Favorite captain play? I'm just going more chalky with my captains. I don't see any reason in these series not to. I think you're picking between one of three guys, and it's Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, or Steph Curry. I don't really think in these kind of games that you should be messing around with too many other things. I could see an argument for a weird Draymond at low ownership captain. I could see an argument for you're just not saving enough, you know, and especially because we think some of these guys, other value guys are going to maybe hit. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just not building that way. I'm not trying to mid-tier build my lineup out tonight. I'm trying to hit the home run with one of the cheapies. Thoughts on Diaz? So people want to play this guy. Go ahead and do it. I don't see the reason on this slate to do it. Like I said, I ended up with so much money that I had left to spend that I ended up forcing in like a Perez and Ramirez. These are in my Musgrove Severino lineups. So I don't see the reason for the 4K, but if you want to play the Yankees with Toronto, then maybe you do want to do it. I have no problem with it. It's just not what I'm doing. He's not good. He has no leash, no real upside unless everything goes perfectly. But other than that, no, I'm just kidding. He's 4K. That's it. You can play a guy who's 4K. There's no problem with it that I have. I just don't see the need to go that low, personally. Same thing with Palante. Actually, Palante is the better play of the two of them. And
what kind of run did Iguodala get in the last game?
He's not. I mean, if they play him at all, I think he played 2 minutes. I'm just looking at projections. I'm wondering how many minutes these people are expecting these guys to play. That's the only reason I mention it. So I think that everybody's that's what's hard for my Kuminga argument. This is the night where you get the 44-minute Steph game and the 40-minute Clay game. Right. Maybe Clay gets a little bit less though, because I mean, they did have only one day off this time. We know Clay, you know, has not quite been himself. So Iguodala played 2 minutes. Porter got the main other guy run, you know, the non-Looney guy run. I think even though Porter's played well enough, they're just getting. It's like a layup line, like watching these games, and you'd think
maybe
that
that's what you're supposed to do. Maybe you're just supposed to play Curry, Clay, and Draymond, and just like assume they just all play 40 minutes somehow.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, you know, there's foul trouble risk when you have a team that you can't stay in front of anybody. So right. I think at least one of those guys gets in foul trouble is my guess. Clay actually didn't. I mean, I wouldn't describe Clay as struggling the other night. He got off to a bad start, but it was pretty awesome after that. Actually helped bring him back. Clay is fine. No interest in captaining him. He can always get hot and get there. But so I guess he would be like number 5 for me if I had to pick a captain. He'd be my 5th favorite, but I wouldn't get to him. So that's where I am with Clay. Let's see what else we got here. People always ask for the updates on the sheets. I want to just say this, just in your defense, if you ever don't do it, it's really not that important in baseball. You know what I mean? a guy being out or something, it's pretty basic.
By the way, I did update the sheets pretty recently, actually, in baseball.
Yeah, they were just asking for more updates, and people are like right before lock were asking the other day. I was like, they haven't changed. No, there's no lineup that hasn't come out yet. You know what I mean? They got to all come out by that point.
Yeah.
So when there's no lineups that have come out, there's not going to be any difference. Also, projections in baseball are so psychotically all over the map. Like, it just doesn't really matter that much unless you have like an entire lineup that's out or something like that, or if you're trying to figure out ownership, I guess. The weirdest stack of the night that might make sense, and I might late pivot onto this from some of my later game stacks, is the Mets. I don't know who's playing for the Mets, so if we knew who was playing, I think that people would actually be playing these guys a little bit. But you have Diaz and an Angels team that has lost 14 in a row now. I could see if somehow you had Marte or Alonso in that lineup, I think that's a reasonable stack. If Kuminga is the guy I'm using, say favorite would be an extreme. I'm I'm doing it. I don't feel like I have like it's like the nut play. It could be. I believe in what I've seen from what I know about basketball, that there's a chance that he gets some run in this game, especially if things get like a little ugly early and they get down big, or if Looney gets in foul trouble early and they want to sort of play small but with some size. I could see him getting in that situation. It wouldn't surprise me if he played 0 minutes, and it wouldn't surprise me if he played 20 minutes. And that's good enough for me to gamble.
That's good enough for me too.
Yeah, and it's possible. I mean, it can happen with these guys in Golden State. We've seen that happen before.
And I didn't build the lineups yet to see, but what I remember is when I had the other day, forget which game it was, I was really in contention to take the whole thing down. And I don't mean like by myself, but it would have been a very, very, I wouldn't have been splitting with that many people, let's put it that way. And the lineup had Peyton and Bielitsa, and that just allowed you to have everybody else, and it allowed you to have Curry and Tatum and whoever else you were supposed to have. And it was strong. And what I'm thinking of doing is something like locking in Peyton and then doing some Peyton Kuminga, some Peyton Bielitsa, some Peyton with something else. I don't even know what else to try. But and then maybe do I don't think you can get away with Kuminga, Bielitsa though. I don't think both those guys can do it.
It's tough.
I think Peyton, Bielitsa, and Peyton and Kuminga. I think both those make sense actually from the pure showdown. You know what I mean? A showdown approach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Kuminga's even projected for more than a minute right now. So.
Right.
Again, it's not one of those you can go back and go, God, Bobby, why did you think Kuminga was playing? I'm not saying this is an optimal play. You're trying to win a tournament with 6 players. You got to do something different. He's got the highest upside, in my opinion, of all those guys, and he makes the most logical basketball sense as a move they could play.
Let me can I don't want to say make a case, but let me if Andre Iguodala plays like extended minutes today, like in a win, for example.
Yeah, I can't see how that happens.
What would end up we'd be able to say why, right? I mean, he does have that pedigree, right? He did win the NBA, the Finals MVP 100 years ago, and their backs are against the wall, and he's active. I mean, he's an active player. You know what I mean? He's not active. You know what I'm saying? Like he's available to play. If he played extended minutes, I just really wouldn't be surprised. That's all.
Yeah, I would be. I don't know who he's playing over. Like Kuminga is the.
But these coaches get in these freaking things like they're down 2-1 and like they're.
But who does he get run over? Like so Porter gets the run over him in the last game. He could potentially get that run, but it's unlikely. I mean, he's too slow. He can't shoot, and I just think you would rather gamble with an athlete. Like if I was them, and if not, but I mean, we're talking about like 11 guys deep here. Like the Warriors don't necessarily need to play like any of these guys,
right?
But I understand what you're saying. It's crossed my mind before a few times, but I actually feel like he really hurt them when he was on the court. And yeah, anyway,
I mean, the other thing that you guys mentioned the projections. I thought actually you were complaining about. I thought people were complaining that I didn't update the NBA projections. So I am going to do that. Although it's the exact same as for the last game, I think. But I don't know if anything's really going to change. But I am updating them. And if you want to talk about something that's irrelevant, how about projections for a showdown scene? But we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I wonder who's getting do you know who's projecting for 1 fantasy point? You have
Daniel Tice.
Luke Cornett is projecting for 1
Get outta
fantasy.
here. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, hey, it's possible. You know what I mean? Actually, that's probably accurate because he probably gets like a blowout run. You know what I mean?
Sometime.
Yeah.
Daniel Tice is projecting for 2 fantasy points.
I mean, they don't even have Kuminga projected. If this play works, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think that I have him projected either. Let me just double check that. Definitely
he's
not on
being projected.
FanDuel. Let me check on DraftKings. No,
I'm
I
putting
have him projected for 0.
Yep.
So that's just it's right up my alley. Let's do it.
Moody's not in there either, and he can.
No, I know. I just noticed. I literally just noticed that.
Yeah. 5:30. All right. So I'm going to get out of here shortly so I can go finish my lineups. Is there any other questions or thoughts or things to work through? Again, to reiterate, for baseball, Toronto, Milwaukee, minis of Tampa Bay, San Diego, then full game stacks of Baltimore, KC, and Texas, Chicago, with a little bit of Atlanta, but not that much.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I like Milwaukee. I've loved Milwaukee and Seattle more than I should. And then I don't have probably as much Toronto as I should. I got probably more Baltimore than I'm supposed to. I probably have more Texas than I'm supposed to. But hashtag it's baseball. That's it.
By the way, I do like Grant Williams for what it's worth tonight in NBA. I don't want to forget that. I think that he's sort of that weird play that like doesn't seem like people are going to, but he actually played well in the last game. I mean, he's somewhat shooting reliant. They like to get him into it with Draymond. So I think that they're going to let him play his 20.
Yeah, that's become a neat little side narrative, right? Just the Grant Williams and Draymond going at it every game.
Yeah, that's actually kind of an interesting pairing there, but probably one of them ends up getting ejected.
Yes.
Just kidding. All right. Well, good luck to everybody. I'm going to run. Sheets, good luck, man. Have a good weekend.
You too.
And I'll talk to you guys.
I'll put some stuff. Oh, I did a video for the Belmont Stakes. I actually like a big long shot. You'll have to sit through the 7-minute video to find who it is. I'll put up, you know what? I'm not leaving till Sunday, so I'm going to put up all my stuff for tomorrow. And then Sunday, I'll probably be gone. And just bear with me over the next 10 days as far as me getting stuff up. I'm going to do my best. And we'll see how it goes. So, all right. Good luck, everybody.